We're back. I'm excited. We're going to have Mountain Stage Healing and Richard, you know the two topics we want to talk about, so take it away, decide which one you want to work on, and then what we'll do is we're going to go to Lori, and then we're going to come back to you because Lori's got to go early. Talk to me, Richard.
All right, so let's start with COVID because it's the topic that's on everyone's mind and has been for, I guess, almost a year now. So there are new studies coming out every single day on COVID specifically, and I've been keeping up with these and reading all the latest information to be informed about what's actually going on, and I really recommend that everybody do that too. Go online, go to pubmed.com. It's where all of the medical studies that are done in regard to all topics really are all sort of put together. You can go on there, type in your search, type in COVID, and go in and read the relevant information. So with COVID, the latest research is showing that it is actually a flu. And we know that. We know that it's a specific strain of flu, and we know that it has certain variations, certain things about it that make it more difficult for the body to deal with than a lot of other things. We know that it lasts longer in the body. We know that, well, it used to be that it could be carried on surfaces. We now know that that's not true, but we know that it can survive in asymptomatic people, so on and so forth. So what's different now from what we knew then is that it does actually act and follow the patterns of a standard flu. Despite the fact that it is more aggressive, it follows the same patterns, and we can prepare ourselves the same way that we would with a standard flu and still get the positive results with our immune system. So the immune system is obviously what we're trying to deal with when we're talking about this issue, and we want to increase our ability to process those things. So a couple studies that I was reading show that a specific supplement called colostrum is actually 3 times more effective at preventing flu episodes than vaccine. So that was one study. Another study suggested that colostrum and something called bifivir, which is a combination of probiotics and prebiotics, so that in addition to colostrum is more effective than vaccine at treating flu episodes. So really, really important to think about that. I would suggest going online, finding a clean source of colostrum. You want to make sure that it's from the first milking. Colostrum is what is released from, well, all mammals really, when they're feeding their young, and it comes out in the milk, but it comes out first before anything else does. And it's packed with growth hormones, immunomodulators, IgAs, IgGs, really, really important. So the study that indicated that colostrum and bifivir, that probiotic and prebiotic combination, were more effective than flu, we can actually try and replicate this. So that substance, the bifivir, is not actually sold here. We can replicate that by adding prebiotic foods to our diet. Those are all from root vegetables. And I've talked about this with COVID a million times, the importance of root vegetables. So those are your potatoes, your carrots, your turnips, your parsnips, your beets, all of those different things. And that you want to combine with your probiotics. I suggest soil-based probiotics. I think that they're a little bit more gentle on the system. There are some, there's one that I like called Fluorosys GI with phage technology. It's by Life Extension, and it's a capsule within a capsule, so it has a delayed release. So the first strain of bacteria releases into your stomach, and the second strain releases into your colon. So it's really upregulating your immune system. So these are the important things to focus on. Again, it's not that much. You take a probiotic, you eat your root vegetables, and you take colostrum. Really, really simple. Your immune system will be on top of it. Also, the research is talking about things like vitamin C, vitamin D. Vitamin C is really important to take in high doses. I would even suggest as high as 4 grams a day. And you can get that in like a powdered form, and it'll be buffered, so you won't get that really crazy sour taste. So you can go online, go on, wherever you want to go and order that. Really great. Vitamin D, you want to make sure that it's being absorbed into your system properly. A lot of people I'm seeing nowadays have low stomach acid, and they don't necessarily break down the gel caps. So they can take that with a hydrochloric acid tablet or capsule, or they can take it with some apple cider vinegar. That'll help to break that down. And then the other thing that you can focus on for vitamin D is taking vitamin D with vitamin K2. And if you combine those synergistically together, then you'll be golden.
Nice. Now you're going into school to get your master's in integrated medicine. You've got the background of a chef. You've worked at a Michelin restaurant. Your whole life is about healing yourself because of all the issues that your body has had. I just think that you're a great resource for people and to go down this road and see how they feel with it.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with his recommend on the powdered vitamin C. I get an instant lift. I can feel my whole immune platform lifting from powdered vitamin C. And I also they're very simple and you can carry them with you, but I really like elderberry and zinc lozenges. I can feel a very strong kick up from those too. Vitamin D from sunshine, you got it. I mean, if you can have your breakfast out on the porch or whatever and get some sun and don't just spend all the time indoors, because like Erica mentioned, a lot of this shelter in place has been kind of hermity.
Well, Richard came in with a huge smile on his face and he said, "Can you tell what I've done different? I've done something different, majorly different in my life, and it's making me happier, more confident and stuff." We couldn't figure out what it was. So Richard, tell us what you're up to.
Yeah, so this starts with a little story. So, I've been having some difficulty with, anxiety and depression and just alternate. And I know everybody's going through that because of COVID. And, I've been popping supplements like crazy, the GABA, the 5-HTP, the St. John's wort, every anti-anxiety supplement you could possibly think of. I was taking it, no difference whatsoever. And, I was going through my coursework and learning different things, and I decided to try a different angle. I decided to target my hormones and see what would happen. So I started to take hormones that would naturally upregulate testosterone. And within 2 days, my physical body, my emotional attitude shifted dramatically. All of a sudden, I have all of this confidence. It's so easy to let go of the negative things that happen. I am overall happier. I feel stronger. And there's this more masculine energy, I guess you could call it, that I feel that is just I don't know. It's put this whole new perspective on life that's just absolutely phenomenal. And I know that it can have this effect on a lot of different people. And the problem that we're dealing with right now is that with food and environment, the water that we drink, the things that we eat, all of these things are impacting our hormones. And most of us are estrogen dominant right now. And for some people, that can be a good thing. And for others, it's not. So really bringing that back into balance is critical.
Christine.
I had a question, Richard. So you said you've been taking hormones. Like, what are you taking? What is it that you're doing? Like, is it a natural hormone, or I'm wondering.
Right. So it's not hormones specifically, because that can really throw people off. But what the idea is that you're giving your body the resources to naturally balance out your hormones.
Okay.
So with dealing with so much estrogen, one of the things that you want to do is increase your vitamin D. And we were talking about that earlier with immunity. And almost everybody I know is deficient in vitamin D. Even if you're outside, getting sunlight every single day, I guarantee you it's not enough. I guarantee you're still deficient. And the reason for that is that we have very few dietary sources of vitamin D. You have it in your fatty fish, your yeast, and your fortified milk and fruit juices. And we know that there are health problems with those, the milk and the fruit juices. So a lot of people are starting to avoid those. So they're not getting their vitamin D. They're not eating their fatty fish necessarily. How many people eat salmon every single day? Not many. How many people are still eating gluten? Not as many as you think. So really thinking about the fact that because we're starting to avoid these fortified foods, we're not being outside as much, especially because of COVID, we're not getting vitamin D. So vitamin D is the big thing. There are also other things. Iodine is one. So you can start supplementing iron and iodine from seaweeds. You can start focusing on different homeopathic type remedies. You can start eating different foods. Cruciferous vegetables are one that helps to metabolize estrogen, which, believe it or not, has a causal relationship on your testosterone. All of these different things in combination. Vitamin A, working on detoxing your liver, taking activated charcoal once a day or after your meals, taking high doses of vitamin C, about 4 grams a day, which also supports your immune system, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. All of these different things can naturally balance your hormones and upregulate your testosterone.
All right, Laura, we got 2 questions for you. Laura's got a question, and then Christine Marie's got a question. I love this. This is good.
So you started taking something specifically in the last week or so. Is that specifically for men, whatever you're taking? And what is it? Because I still didn't really get what exactly you're taking.
Yeah, so it's not actually anything specific. It's actually that combination of things that anyone can do. It's that vitamin D, the vitamin C, the iron / seaweed. Those 3 things specifically have been making the biggest difference. Oh, and also I didn't mention filtered water. I didn't realize how much estrogen was being produced in my system because I was drinking poor quality water. So I started filtering my water through an alkaline water filter, and the difference in my energy level and mood just changed dramatically. I mean, it's amazing how something so small can have such a large effect.
And you drink a lot of water?
I have started to. I was avoiding water like the plague because of how awful it was. My body just didn't want it coming out of that sink.
Get a hydro flask. Get a hydro flask and carry it with you everywhere.
Yeah, anything that, I've been, making fun of people for carrying around. Everyone carries around these water bottles these days for a long time. Though now that I'm able to drink water and I'm doing it, like the difference is huge. I had no idea.
Nice.
So my question sort of dovetails into that. My sense is that the vitamins you're taking, you mentioned clearing the liver, this kinds of things. Is this sort of like an adaptogen? In other words, it helps your body adjust to whatever it is best and healthiest for your body. If you're a man, it will shift and increase your testosterone. If you're in a male body, if you're in a female body, it will likely shift, the estrogen, so you're balanced. Is that what you're talking about? So
Absolutely.
It's not just men and testosterone.
Right. So these will all have an adaptogenic effect. I mean, the key is that, like I said, focusing on the liver, these supplements are helping you detox your system. So you're starting with a clear system. When you're doing that, everything will naturally come into balance. And the key is getting everything out. Detoxing.
Nice.
So then as your body,
Good.
I was going to say, as your body detoxes and adjusts, then your hormones come into a better balance for your system. So it adapts to what you need. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Now, with food, because you're a chef, okay, trained chef, worked at, Michelin restaurants, you and Namita have a lot in common here, because Namita, for many years, for a decade that I've known Namita, has done detoxing and cleansing foods Ayurvedically through Namita's Cuisine when she was doing her delivery service, because I know I did it. So Namita, what do you have to add on that as far as the spices?
Well, before we go into the spices, can I say something about the hormones?
Sure.
So, because it's so super interesting, this conversation, especially, I have been thinking about all the young people who are locked in the house. It brings us back to Dr. Laura before, that was talking about the lack of contact that people have, especially when our hormones are being flourished in our teens from 13 to 19. At least they are going wild naturally, which is why they express themselves through sports, through girlfriends, through contacts, through boyfriends. I mean, there is this whole denial that obviously we can support it. I totally agree, Mountain Sage, that support that, but there is a natural dysregulation, unfortunately, that seems to be a consequence of this isolation. And I feel that it's super hard on piping hormones at that age. I don't know if that you would agree with or not, but
Absolutely. As stress increases, testosterone drops and estrogen gets crazy funky.
Yeah. So I remember Swami, that taught me all about Ayurveda, always said that most problems in our body are hormone based. And so continuing to support with supplements, with diet, I just want to make sure that the reminder of Ayurveda to keep being gentle on ourselves.
Laura, we've got like 20 seconds left. You're the youngest. Guess what? We're gonna have to wait to have you say what you were gonna say till next week, because that was a quick minute. Okay. So listen,
Sounds good.
God bless you all. See you next week.
Bye.
You are clear.
Richard, that was great. And I wish we could have pulled in some more comments from Don too, but isn't it fascinating that the hormone soup going on in the body is major what to do of how we're feeling?
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, I had never had an instance before COVID started where I could not control my anxiety through anxiety supplements. So there absolutely, like Namita was saying, there is an effect of this isolation and stress where it is causing our hormones to flop out of balance. And we know that one of the biggest relationships our emotions have to our hormones is with stress. And focusing on the different ways we can deal with that, I mean, just has such a huge difference. I mean, I'm very surprised, but pleased, because it's fast. You know, it wasn't like natural medicine tends to take a bit longer, you know, than popping a drug or something. But, you know, this is something that just shifts so quickly, you know, when you find the right thing.
I have after Don. Go ahead, Don.
I was going to say, for the sake of mind, body, and spirit here, and I love this today, Richard. This is awesome. But you know, the spirit part, you know, is important for this whole balance, because we're talking about imbalanced conditions and balancing. So whether it's chanting, meditation, forest bathing.
Well, I have something to add that I just learned from the Braille volunteer staff meeting that I was attending. They suggested
During the show,
they suggested that when you do get a chance to hug someone, hug heart to heart. So it's like go in on the left side. So frequently we tend to go in on the right side, I think, because that's very common. But they're suggesting that because we lack intimate contact, when you do have an opportunity to hug someone, put your heart against the other person's heart and really hold it for like 20 seconds. And you will get a real burst of, oxytocin? Something that's really helpful to balance your hormones.
Yeah.
I did that to your mother. She wanted to play breakaway. Good.
I wanted to mention something to both of you, because Don, you were expressing an interest in the PubMed site.
Yeah.
So I've been finding when I look at third-party websites, like if I Google something, like I'm interested in COVID and whatever, and I Google it, the information that I'm seeing on those websites is often misrepresented from the actual study. So what I'm seeing is that people frame what they read in the study to fit the purpose or goal of their article. But on PubMed, you go directly to the source, and it's kind of dense material to read, because they're the actual clinical studies. But I just wanted to mention, when you do that, if you want to, they're going to show the abstracts for all of the different articles and all the different studies. But if you go over to the left side of the page, you can have it filter out. It'll say like full text link, and then you'll click on that, and then it'll only give you the articles where you can actually read the full study. And I've been finding that it's really important to pay attention to to how the studies are being conducted. Okay. I had somebody send me a link saying that people who were asymptomatic for COVID were more at risk for having heart disease, and that was something that was presented on the news. So I went up and I looked up the study, and they conducted that study on one patient.
Oh my God.
So I don't know. I don't quite understand how that works, how they came to that. And there were a whole bunch of different studies about how COVID affects the heart, and there was only that one study dealing with that one person that suggested that was accurate, and all of a sudden it became this big thing. So like third parties grab what they can use to make a deadline or whatever. It's not hard to take a study and twist it so that it conveys different information, because you can just take one line out of context and it's completely different from what was actually being said.
We
You know,
didn't talk.
I recommend this website to go there and look at every single.
That's good.
Well, I mean, whatever it is you want to know,
Yeah,
I
that's
just
good.
suggest looking it up. Go straight to the science.
All right, we're all recovering from our conditioning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Good.
Love. See you next week.
All right, bye-bye.